welcome to Young Kizzy, the one YouTube channel. If this is your first time on my YouTube channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the red subscribe button down below and turn on the bell icon. Tell me what you think about this video in the comment section.
Hi, hello. So, I just thought I should come in quickly and just give my points after listening to the rally that the president of the Republic of Zambia is just from having. Just a quick catch up right now. I'm in the car. I'm on my way going to work, so I'll try by all means to make it really quick. So when you look at national reserves, this is money, or rather liquid assets that a government puts aside in order to cushion, its country when it comes to issues of, debt. They would use the national reserves as surety, so to say. Lenders are going to look at the country and see how much you have in your reserves, and based on what you have, they'll be able to lend you or give you loans, even sometimes on very good interest rates and agreements, simply because of what you have in your reserves. It is a very good idea to have national reserves, and I don't think Brian Mondowela is against the idea of having national reserves for Zambia. But the big question is, how can we have such a huge amount of money sitting in the national reserves when our country is going through ad hoc severe poverty? Yeah? The 22 million people that are in Zambia, statistics say that 64% of Zambia's population is living under ad hoc poverty. That is the reality. Yeah? We do understand that the National Reserve, this is not money that you have access to and say, oh, we're going to get money and we're going to give every Zambian 50 kwacha for them to start up small scale businesses and improve their lives. No, this is not how the National Reserve money works. Even if we had to have access to it, this is money that can go into sectors such as the agricultural sector, boost the agricultural sector. Once the agricultural sector is boosted, we know that Zambia will have enough food and will not be recorded as one of the hunger-stricken countries either in the world or wherever, because we'll be able to provide our own food. Those are things that Brian Mondowela is trying to emphasize on to support the farmers. If you guys remember very well, during the Mwanawasa time, we even got to a point where Mwanawasa introduced the winter maize. Mukumbuka, yeah? He introduced the winter maize. There was bumper harvest. Yes, climate change has played its role, but this is the time when we should start asking questions or thinking about ways we could do farming or agriculture despite, the global warming and everything else that's happening in the world. We should invest in technologies that will allow us to grow either our maize or whatever it is that we are growing in the current weather situations that we have presently. There is technologies out there, lots of them. There's actually a Zambian lady, I've just forgotten her name. She's into agriculture and she's really achieved quite a lot. Yeah. And this lady apparently talks about different ways we could venture into agriculture and stuff like that. Looking at droughts, how can we still go ahead and, and farm despite, living, in an era where we'd experience, droughts and things like that. Yeah. Those are things that we need to learn from. That is the direction that we're supposed to face. And Brian Mondowela is saying we need to look at ways and how we're going to improve our agricultural sector. We've just been doing the same things over and over and over again. During the PF times, PF used to give farmers plenty of fertilizer. My father-in-law has a farm, and each year he would receive bags and bags of fertilizer and seed to plant. But now we have to start sending money back at home for them to buy extra bags of fertilizer. I'm told bags are cut in between, they're put in medals, and people have to share fertilizer. When in the olden days, I remember they would get 5-8 bags, each. Yeah, to help them in their farms. And if they want more, they would buy, but at least at a very, reasonable price, something that was manageable for them to buy. This is what we are talking about. Don't get too excited when you hear things like, oh, we have brought the feeding program into the schools. These are policies that existed even during the PF times. Go to the Ministry of Education today. Ask for their policy, for their standards policy document. It is there. Pilot projects were done during the PF times to see how best, the feeding programs can support education in Zambia. Successful stories and case studies were drawn out of those, projects that were carried out. So what the UPND government is simply doing is picking up from where the PF has left. Yes, that is what is supposed to be done. But please let us acknowledge and say these are not new policies that you have brought up. Rather, these are policies or case studies or things that you found on the table and you just built on them, which is very good. That's how a government should do. But please give credit where it's due, and let's not sugarcoat anything and make ourselves look high or mighty when we know that we got some of these ideas, we found them sitting on the tables. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So we've got very big questions that we should be asking ourselves. We should be asking, how much do we need? Yeah. Or how much is appropriate to be kept as national reserve, looking at our population, looking at the things that are on the ground right now. Yes, it's a very funny question to ask, because you cannot ask somebody how much should you keep in your emergency fund. The bigger the emergency fund, the better. Yes, I do understand. But there's no way you will continue living in ad hoc poverty and you keep on saving. Your children are hungry. You keep on saving money to say, I'm saving money for the future. So you can die of hunger right now because I'm saving money for the future. Who are you saving that money for the future if you cannot feed your own children at this current time? These are things that hurt us. Don't say, oh, the Zambians in the diaspora, why are you poking your nose into things that are happening at home? You guys left home and things like that. Yes, we left home for greener pastures. We have come to places and we have seen how certain things work. Some of the things that we beg for in Zambia should actually be our rights. They are our rights. There are things that are entitled to us. We should not even beg for them. They should be available for us. That is why we are choosing the right leaders, bringing the right leaders into government, so that the resources should be divided equally and every person should be able to feel the positive impact. When we talk of microeconomics, we want microeconomics should not only be successful on paper, but microeconomics should be felt even to the least person in the country. Yes, we do understand that the government has provided jobs for teachers and nurses, A, B, C, and D. But what about the informal sector? What about the young people out there that do not have a trade? Remember, Zambia is made up of young people. Our biggest population is young people. What have we done with the young people that are uneducated on the streets? Yeah? So we're talking of the National Reserve being able to invest in sectors that will provide jobs for everyone, be informal or formal, in the formal sector. We do appreciate the nurses, we do appreciate the teachers, but not everyone is a nurse, not everyone is a teacher. Even when you look at how much these nurses are getting paid, oh my God, I would be very honest, and I'm not even boasting, I'm not even, trying to undermine anything, but if I had to put 3 doctors together in Zambia, put their salaries together, that is how much I am getting. That is my basic pay without me doing any overtime, without me doing whatever. 3 salaries of doctors in my country, in Zambia. That is how much I am getting as a senior nursing assistant in the UK. I have met healthcare assistants in the UK that were nursing charge back at home, working as a HCA, but they are making more money than they were making back at home. 10 times. Zambia, eventually, you are losing the cream. We are running away. We are going to other countries because we want to survive. We are now holding